2.2, making marketing decisions. We are going to jump straight into the content. Here we go. So what we're going to cover off in this video for topic 2.2, we're going to start to look at product, price, promotion, and place. So we're kind of looking at a bigger detail of the marketing mix and also how using the marketing mix to make business decisions. This goes a little bit deeper than 1.4. So starting with 2.2.1, product. So the first definition we're going to start to look for is the design mix. The design mix. It's made up of function, aesthetics, and costs. Always good to remember those three. The next one definition we're looking at here is the product life cycle, which are the phases of the product life cycle. And the last is extension strategy. So this is the importance to a business of differentiating a product or service. When we talk about extending the life, so in the product life cycle, extending it to last for longer to keep it relevant. So the design mix, so the three of these that are made up of the design mix is the function, is what problem does the product or service solve? Design, how does the product look, feel, or taste? And the cost, can the product be made or service provided for the right price so a profit can be made? That's ultimately what they're looking for in the design mix. So function, will the product or the service be fit for purpose? What does the product do? You know, in a Dyson vacuum cleaner, it cleans without needing a bag inside, which lost suction when it got full. So this is back in the day, vacuum cleaners, they all had these bags. Once the bags got full of dust, it wasn't sucking up as much of the dust. So Dyson, the whole idea is that it's a bagless vacuum. You can empty it after each use. You don't have to buy more things for it. So how well does it perform? So in a car, it might be its MPG or its top speed, might also be around like its fuel economy and things like that. So what makes that unique? Also now, you know, we're talking about electric cars, and traditionally they were talking about electric cars didn't go fast enough, but now Teslas have made faster electric cars. So things like that, what function it serves. It's also about the ergonomics. When we talk about it, it's like how something, you know, looks and functions, how the ergonomics of how you use it, like office chairs and things like that. Usability, safety, reliability, and functionality. This is what function looks like. Now, aesthetics is a word that some people do forget. Aesthetics basically is something how it looks more appealing. So consumers are asked through marketing, through market research about their feelings towards products. So this is often how it looks, tastes, and feels. I don't know if you remember doing a video last year when we were looking at, or you would have done this with your previous teacher. It was about sauce bottles in a focus group. So they were asking people how they felt about the squeezy bottle. Now, although squeezy bottles are quite common practice now, even when I was a kid, sauce bottles were always glass bottles. So they've changed the aesthetics of it. So it not only is it more useful for purpose, it also looks more appealing and it's easy to use and so forth. So it's how the senses respond to the product. So look, see, feel, smell, taste. More stylish and beautiful products, so they tend to sell better, so people can charge a premium price. So if something looks visually appealing, more people are more likely to buy it. So if you think about fashion items as well, what emotional attachment consumers have with the product. So this is what the aesthetics is. It's more around how people can interact emotionally or physically with the product, as opposed to functionality of what its purpose is for. Now, cost. This question's the design team might ask the production department is, what is the minimum cost that we can make this product for whilst retaining quality? So basically, can you still produce a quality item, but how cheap can you make it? Can this product be made using productive capacity? Can it be made efficiently? So basically, can it be made quickly so that they can produce a lot more of it in a small amount of time? So you don't have to, so you're not losing costs on time for the production. And can it be produced for a lower cost than its competitors? So these are the things that we think about in cost when it comes to the design mix. So for example, here we've got a kettle. So this is the iKettle. It can be controlled by a phone app. So aesthetically, it's using sleek, sharp lines. The iKettle still holds its very classic design. And the cost. The new iKettle has been reconstructed using only the very best materials From the high-grade stainless steel to the extra strong handle and lid, the iKettle 2.0 has been designed with quality in mind. I have no idea here what it actually retails for, but the idea is that people still charge a
This is a
premium.
reminder.
Alexa, cancel. Alexa, stop.
Sorry. So this is how the design mix is incorporated into all of that. So when we started talking about the product life cycle before, this is when you look at the introduction of the product in its growth stage. When it's at maturity is where it kind of peaks, and then it starts to decline. So this is over time, and this is the revenue that it gets during that period. So as it gets in the growth and maturity stage, it's making the most money, and then it starts to decline. So when we start to talk about extending, this is about how do we extend either the growth or the maturity stages, or basically, can we to keep generating that same revenue over time. So growth phase, products are enjoying rapid growth in sales and profits. At this stage, the customers are aware of the product and the demand is high. And at the maturity phase, products face intense competition. Now all the other producers have joined the market. So that's the difference between these two. Sales are high, but profits are starting to fall. Products have to be discounted to keep selling high, basically. So this is the idea. At the growth, it's also building a lot of recognition. So this is when other competitors and rivals will start to come into the market, either to do it better or to do it cheaper. And that's then how the maturity starts to peter off, that if you're not adapting your products or changing it or bringing out new products, you could be going downwards with that. So in the decline phase, products may be limited in production, but at this stage, profits and sales have fallen. The product may be withdrawn from sale. So these are just an example of games when they come out. So when a new game comes out, often they do a lot of hype to sort of get people buying it very quickly. As more people have had the game, used the game, games just sort of drop off as well. So product lifecycle, how can this be extended? So you've got the research and development that comes before the introduction, the growth, maturity, and the decline. So when we talk about extending the product lifecycle, a business may have saturated a domestic market, so the country in which the business is based in the domestic market. Everyone who is going to buy your product has bought it. What does the business do next? So either develop new products, which is time consuming and expensive, or find new markets for existing products, which will reduce the average cost and speed up the break even. If you were using this in an exam question, be really clear how you're talking about extending the life cycle. So sometimes if you're revamping an older product, be really clear on what you're doing. Another option of what you can also do here is talk about using advertising to advertise to a different target market. So when we talk about here finding new markets, you might be talking about the location, or you could be talking about targeting just a new area. So let's say your current product was based at people, who are 15 to 25. You might be able to re-advertise the same product using different features and targeting at, say, people who are 35 to 45. So these are the ways that we talk about extending a product life cycle. So you need to be really clear, because if your answer is too general, this is what a lot of people found in the trap in the mock exam. If it wasn't abundantly clear, you didn't necessarily get all the marks for. So be really clear at how you would be doing that if that came up in one of your questions. So product lifestyle extension strategies. So here is one. So Jaguar Land Rover regularly update their models. This picture shows two Range Rovers, one slightly newer than the other. The engine and faces are the same. The styling has changed to extend the brand. Land Rover began making Range Rovers since 1970. This strategy ensures that the car remains in the maturity stage of the product lifestyle cycle rather than going into decline and being withdrawn. They essentially keep bringing out they've got the same idea from this model. They just keep kind of updating the model to make sure that people are still interested in their model and the features that keep being updated. Product lifestyle extension strategies for promotion, so you can repackage. So you can offer discounts is another way of trying to keep things out. You can rebrand. So Marathon became Snickers. Adding extra features like iPhone 6 has a bigger screen than the So 6 Plus had the biggest spend in the iPhone 6. You've got new users, toddlers at great manner attracted by Thomas the Tank Engine land, which has boosted the ticket sales. And then we've also got the new market. So kind of like what we were talking before, these are just ways that we can, different ways that you can, so using promotion to extend the product life cycle, it's just finding different ways there. But you need to be clear on how you're going to do that. So you need to unpack the idea of promotion. Okay, so here we've got the term differentiation. So this is when a business makes its product different from its competitor's product. So this is how so when we talk about how can businesses compete, they can compete with differentiation. So that might be, so in this example, you've got all these shoes, but it's about what makes your shoe more unique that's going to make people want yours. So in this scenario here, you can see the Nike or the Nike tick on this shoe. Obviously, Nike has it's a bit of a status symbol. That's part of also how they do. They make you feel like it's all quality products. But one of the worst pair of sneakers that I bought in New York, I don't know, a decade ago, were a pair I bought from the Nike store. They looked cool, but within days they started like falling apart in certain places and things like that. But again, I had Nike sneakers, but this is the way they differentiate. So in this case, they would be differentiating on the actual brand. But so yeah, differentiation when a business makes its product different from its competitors' products. So in the product mix, some businesses differentiate themselves from the competition through their product mix. So Costa and Starbucks, a range of coffee and snacks. All right, that was all for the product part. So let's do a practice question. So explain one method a business could use to differentiate itself from its rivals. This is 3 marks. We've talked about it before. You can pause the video here and we'll have all the practice answers at the end of the video, sample answers at the end of the video. All right, let's move on. 2.2.2, this is price. So some definitions that we're looking at here is price strategy. So this is the way that companies decide to set their prices. So these are the relative terms: price skimming, competitive pricing, economy pricing, psychological pricing, and penetration pricing. Cost plus, which is adding a percentage to the cost, and loss leader, selling products at a loss to attract customers. So you got Waitrose. So Tesco is more competitive based. So obviously, if you think about the way they try to undercut places like Sainsbury, and then obviously you've got Aldi and all that who are undercutting again. Economy prices, which is Lidl and Aldi, so they're going for the lowest, the cheapest options. Psychological pricing, so this is when we see things listed at 199.99, you think, oh, it's under 200. So there's something about the psychology of when you see something being like £200, you're like, oh, it's a bit too expensive. But when it's designed psychologically, it makes you feel like it's less or lower. Penetration pricing is like a new product at a low price. So the whole idea is to attract people buying it in the early stages. So here are all of your definitions. So price skimming is a product is priced high to begin with, as it has a desirability factor that will mean customers will want it when it's new. Penetration pricing sets prices really low for a new product or service to encourage sales, to persuade customers to try the product for the first time. Cost plus pricing is calculating the total cost to produce the product or service and then adding a percentage on top to ensure profit is made. The competitive pricing is when product services are priced very similar or slightly below rivals. The promotional pricing is the product or service that is offered for a sale at a cheaper price for a limit of time only. Psychological pricing, avoiding round numbers like charging 9.99 instead of £10. And then loss leader, selling a number of products for below what they cost to make a profit on other items. So for an example of a loss leader as well, so for example, when I used to work in retail, sometimes when we had a huge sale, we'd sell like some items at like super below what they're worth, just because we knew that once we would advertise them in the papers, people would come to check it out anyway. Once they were in the store, we would sell them other items. And it's not deceitful, it's just that they're interested in that really low price. We'd have other things on sale as well. maybe not necessarily as low as that. So it would make profit on the other items, not on the items that they necessarily came in for. So, that's the same idea of the loss leader. So, for example, in this example, the Kindle Fire is a loss leader, so it actually costs more than they were selling it, basically, so that people were coming to buy stuff. And the idea for Amazon using the Kindle Fire is people were buying stuff on the Amazon store, like books and things like that they could read, or magazines, so they were still making additional money that way. So that was a way that they were using it at that point. The factors that influence price strategy is technology, competition, market segments, and product lifecycle. So price in the product lifecycle, what price will be charged at each stage of the lifecycle? So obviously you can see there with time for the profit and revenue is looking at different ways that you can do. So you can see the way the green bar is angling down more and more. So you can see that they're obviously giving more discounts, which is why the profit is going lower at this point. All right, exam practice. Explain one reason why a business may need to know what price competitors are charging. So pause your video here and let's get going. 2.2.3, promotion. The definitions we're looking at here is promotional strategy, the way that companies encourage customers to purchase their products. So what you're doing with promotion is you're making people aware of the product, you want to make people desire the product, and you want to make people buy the product. That's the whole idea of what your promotional strategy is aiming for. So the traditional or old media promotion would be like your TV advertising, your radio advertising, your newspaper advertising, and leaflets, flyers, and billboards. But the world has changed and businesses need to adapt because people are using things very differently now. So technology and promotion, so ways that now tends to get used. So this is what most businesses are looking at, of how to reach their target market, because a lot of people aren't watching TV anymore and they're not listening to the radio. So it's all about online adverts, text and email promotions, using social media, having your like a YouTube channel, and then also having ads on other YouTube channels as well, your digital billboards, loyalty schemes, and interactive ads in free apps and things like that. So every time an ad pops up on an app that you're playing, someone is paying for that ad to appear in front of you because they have worked out that you are their target demographic for whatever reason. So explain one benefit to a business of viral advertising. So viral advertising is obviously something that when something goes viral, I'm sure all of you know what that means. So you can pause the video here and let's push on. 2.2.4, so place. So where can businesses sell to customers? So distribution. So the definition for distribution is the ways that businesses make their products available to the customer. So distribution can be short. So when we talk about short distribution, from producer direct to the consumer, so like a farm shop. So instead of going via the supermarkets, they can sell direct to the public. Or a long distribution is via a wholesaler and a retailer. So a packet of crisps bought from a local newsagent has obviously gone through many different stages before it's actually reached the newsagent to sell it to you. So it may have gone through warehousing, through, there could be 7 stages in that supply chain, for instance. So a retailer is a business that buys from a manufacturer or a wholesaler and sells it to the general public. So 2 main distribution methods that this course looks at is retailers and e-tailers. Obviously, e-tailers, thinking of e-commerce, is your online platforms. So retailers selling through shops, e.g. high streets, and they've got selling online through web stores and things like that. Now you obviously got e-tailers, so m-commerce, so all mobile stores or just shops via apps and stuff, all fall under the e-tailer category as well. So large retailers can hold a great deal of power over their suppliers, reducing the price a business might receive for its goods. So we talk about large retail. So if you're buying huge amounts of product, you can demand the supply for discounts and things like that. So explain one benefit to a business of using a retailer to distribute their products. That's another 3 markers. That's a BLT. You can pause the video here. Okay, so you've got e-tailers here. So e-commerce or electronic commerce is when buyers and sellers meet in a virtual location, so like the internet. M-commerce or mobile commerce is the use of mobile devices such as smartphones or tablets to trade. This allows for retail to take place 24/7. It reduces geographical restrictions, giving customers greater choice and businesses a wider target market, including international markets. There is added convenience for customers with home delivery or click and collect. It can help a business avoid high costs associated with retail premises. So the benefits of using an e-tailer is the opportunity to reach a wider audience. You can sell to customers 24/7 when traditional stores would be closed. Payment is taken automatically. It reduces the need to hold large amounts of stock, as stock will be stored centrally and not spread across a number of stores. And it appeals to customers as it offers convenience and lower overhead costs. But the drawbacks of e-tailing may limit the number of customers if the target market is not so tech savvy, allows customer greater access information, forcing businesses to compete more on price, subject to breakdowns in technology or security breaches, and it limits the power of face-to-face transactions to make sales, and logistics for posting orders and returns. So when we talk about limits the power of face-to-face, is some customers still really value that customer service experience, especially for larger purchases. Obviously, if people are just buying small things and items of clothing, things like that, it may not be as important. But for some businesses, building that relationship to get that customer loyalty and things like that really depends on customers coming into those stores and so forth. And when we talk about logistics, so remember, logistics is generally how items are getting to customers and things like that, or to and from your business. So for instance, if you're not producing it, you might be needing to hold it. So you might have obviously order all of the stock, you've kept it centrally, then you've got to post out every individual item to your customers. And obviously the cost of postage or delivery and all that is a large cost for your business, even though you might be saving on a lot of overheads from not having a physical store. So these are the types of things that you're looking at there. All right, so another practice question. So discuss the benefit of e-tailing to a business. This is a 6 marker. So you're looking for 2 BLTs, basically. You want to be unpacking those ideas. So discussing the benefit of e-tailing to a business. All right, pause the video here and we'll keep going. All right, so the last part of this topic is 2.2.5, using the marketing mix to make business decisions. So when choosing a marketing mix, a business should consider the target market, the nature of the competition, the actions of the competitors, the type of product, where the product is in the product life cycle, the level of differentiation that can be achieved, the brand name and reputation of the business, and the business's objectives. So this is a similar list that we looked at in 1.4. So we need to be thinking about, obviously, who you are trying to attract and who else is trying to attract those same customers. So trying to look at what's happening in that space of the market, what your product is. Do you have a USP? Do you have a competitive advantage? And where is the product in its life cycle? So are you going to need to discount it, obviously, to extend its life cycle? Are you trying your hand in a new market? And you need to sort of work out how reputable you are. Do people know your brand? Or are you relatively not known and you're quite price competitive and things like that? What does your business want to achieve? So you need to be thinking about all of these ideas in order to how you are going to get people to know about your product, how you're going to get people to want your product, and how you're going to be able to get people to buy your product. So here are some examples. So a high quality product will tend to have a premium price. We promote it through notable, perhaps niche publications. So when you start thinking about some of the high-end fashion magazines and things like that, think of the types of things you might see in Vogue or Men's Fitness or things like that, compared to, the sort of trashy magazines that you see readily available at like the supermarket checkouts. Will it be distributed through a renowned outlet? So Burberry charge over £1,000 for one of their famous jackets, and they advertise their magazines like in Vogue. They're sold in Burberry's own designer stores or other famous retail outlets such as Harrods. So you're generally not going to find any Burberry items in like TK Maxx. At least I don't think. But a low quality product will tend to have a low price, will be promoted through mass media. So what we talk about mass media is kind of like everywhere, billboards, you see them on buses and things like that. Will be distributed through mass outlets. Greg charged £2 for the sausage of bacon in a bun and a hot drink. They advertise their food through a range of mass media such as, sorry, can't see the screen here, such as television. They're sold in stores across the country that are easily accessible by a large number of customers. So, when you see McDonald's advertising everywhere. Sometimes they're advertising a product, sometimes it's just the actual brand. And you can, the idea is that there's McDonald's, it's become a recognizable brand also through their advertising. The idea is psychological. It's also meant to make you, because you know it's a McDonald's, the idea is that it makes you want to go to McDonald's to purchase those items. All right. Don't need to, okay, so this is where it kind of covered. So the business will use the marketing mix to inform and implement business decisions. So we talked about product portfolios, so the need for new products or to delete products based on stage in the product life cycle. So what they're basically saying is, so with iPhones, what they will do, they bring out the new one, they then bring out the model a year later, so the 10 or the 10S or whatever, and then they actually stop producing and they stop selling the 10 model, and they completely take it away. So they don't sell anymore, and then they will bring out a new product. So they actually Apple stops selling their products. Like, they don't keep one of their models to continue their life cycle. They will cancel it, so you want the next model up. So there's a new product life cycle for the next model. So this is what we talk about the product portfolio. They will literally stop an older product so people cannot purchase it anymore. So pricing decisions based on objectives and competitors' actions. Promotional activities and technological or social change, and place. So the growth of e-commerce and m-commerce. So these are the ways that the marketing mix has changed over time. Important for businesses' marketing mix to evolve over time based on both internal and external changes. This is required to help maintain a competitive advantage. So if a business integrates its marketing mix successfully, it will achieve a competitive advantage. So that's basically where we talk about product, price, place, and promotion. About getting all of those things right for that product should generally, hopefully, make it a successful product. So practice question. Explain one way that promotion may impact on the price element of the marketing mix. This is a 3 marker, so just a BLT. You can pause the video here. Okay, let's get on to the sample answers. Again, these are not gospel. These are just some basics for ways that you can approach some of these questions. All right. So explain one method a business could use to differentiate itself from its rivals. So one method is by making their product look different to others. This could be by using bright colors or having a unique design. As a result, the product would be eye-catching to consumers, therefore would stand out from competing products. So think about shorter, sharper sentences just to unpack your ideas. So explain one reason why a business may need to know what price competitors are charging. It is important because a business may have a similar product to its rivals. Because if they charged a much higher price, it would be less appealing, leading to low sales. Therefore, the business may not sell enough products to break even. Okay, explain one benefit to a business of viral advertising. If a business can use social media to make an advert go viral, many consumers will share it. This means that the business will gain a lot of exposure, therefore potentially leading to increased sales. All right, explain one benefit to a business of using a retailer to distribute their products. So one benefit is that customers can see the products and potentially try them in person. because this will give customers more confidence before purchasing the product. This leads to confidence in the brand, therefore may increase ongoing sales through brand loyalty compared to online businesses. All right, so this was the 6th marker, discuss the benefit of e-tailing to a business. One advantage is that an e-tailer can sell to a global market. This is because they are selling goods on the internet. This may enable them to reach many more customers than if they used physical stores. This could lead to increased sales and revenues. Another advantage is that they do not need expensive retail locations, because they may then have to lower fixed costs since they don't need need access to power or to staff physical stores. This could lead to lower total costs, therefore they could sell their products for less. So if you're looking there, we're looking at one is obviously that they're selling to the global market. The other advantage is that they don't need the expensive retail location. So it's still looking at two sides of those benefits. And then you've got explain one way that promotion may impact on the price element of the marketing mix. So a business may decide to conduct free promotion using regular posts on social media rather than using TV advertising, because this would lower their costs, leading to charging a lower price for the product, therefore being more competitive than some of its rivals to generate more sales. So an alternative, what you could have done there is to promote to portray an image of luxury, and they need to charge more for the product. So that's one way that you can use that promotion to impact on the price. So you need to be thinking about an impact of something that they could do that will alter or that will make them do something with their price. Always remember to make sure you read your question in your exams, make sure that you're addressing it. All right, that's all from me. I will see you for 2.3.